How's it going out there, everybody? Hope everybody's having a great day. I'm your host, Cash. This is Weekly Recap. Welcome to the channel. I much appreciate you stopping by. Let's talk about what Weekly Recap is and what it is. And I'm going to do over a week of operating a semi-truck in the United States. This is a legitimate week. This week is from mid to late February 2024. So if you're watching this in the future, thank you. Smash that like button for me. Now, let's talk about what Weekly Recap is. It's me going over this week. It's me telling you about the week, the expenses, the reasoning behind doing what I did. And let's talk about a few things it's ain't. Number one, I don't talk about my carrier. I'm leased to an 80-20 split carrier. I don't talk about them. And I'm sure you reasonable people out there can understand why the internet's full of jokers, and I don't need them all up in my business for no gain. So, I'm not here to make friends. I'm not here to lie to you. I'm not here to do anything other than just give you this information that I have from my week of operating this truck. If it makes you mad, that's on you. Emotions are an internal thing. You create them, in my opinion. So, however this makes you feel is, how it made you feel. Um, and that's it. That's all I can think of right now. There might be more. I'll bring it up then. But I'm in Minnesota, and well, not right now, but I live in Minnesota. I like to go out and back, rinse and repeat. And it's because my carrier has the best freight for us in Minnesota. So I like to go to Minnesota, get some freight, head out, get what I can get to come back, and then go home, spend a little time, enjoy the fruits of my labor, and then, go out again, come back. Sometimes I take off longer home times. I just got off a 7-day home time, mostly because freight prices are not so great right now. Having trouble finding good paying freight. So instead of taking my normal 2 to 3 days, I said, you know what? I'm just going to take this weekend and enjoy it at the house. Now, when I do that, now that I'm back on the road, I will probably do more than one run out and back. Typically, when I do that, I will do a run out, I will do a run back, and then I will reload immediately, maybe one night at the house, and then turn and go again, you know, and then kind of get back on my regular 2, 3, 4 day cycle of home time. That's my philosophy. That's how I do it. That's how I kind of consider keeping my sanity in trucking. You know, I've been one of those guys that stayed out for weeks at a time before. It makes me absolutely crazy. Just what it does. After about that 20th day on the road, there's nothing that can happen on the road that can make me happier than being at the house. When I'm out here, I'm just living the struggle, just completing my little task, checking off my task before I can go home and have some fun. I'm not a fun on the road type of guy. I'm a business on the road type of guy. I sacrifice being out here to make more money so the family can have what they need. And that's how I look at it. That's really the gist of it. I'm not I don't know. Most people say I'm boring, but I guess I am technically. I like that. So now let's get to the week. Sorry, went off on a whole philosophy there. Let me tell you what my granddaddy told me one time. No. But so I got a load out of Minnesota. I was at the house on this one. They called me. They said, "Hey, would you like to do a load to Ohio ice cream load?" Normally, I'm not a big fan of ice cream load, but this is February in Minnesota to Ohio. So staying north. Now, I know it's been warm this winter, but even at 50 degrees outside, that's a 70 degrees difference. That's like doing a refrigerated load in the summer. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. I had a good trailer. I pull company trailer. I pay for the reefer. They pay for everything else. I pay for the reefer fuel, excuse me. I pay for the reefer fuel. They pay for the trailer. And that's part of their 20%. They provide me with a trailer. They pay the insurance, they pay the maintenance, the repairs, and in turn, I respect their equipment. Okay. I treat that trailer like it's mine because technically it kind of is my responsibility and my money. Okay. So I take that very serious. So with that being said, they call me Ohio, going to Ohio. I said, yeah, I'll take that. That's a good paying load. Even for ice cream, has fallen off. There's really no market you can stay in that's exceptional right now. It's all kind of meh to me. So this load went, it was negative 20, 42,000 pounds. That was Minnesota to Ohio. That was Walmart in Wintersville, Ohio. My God, is that, in my opinion, the worst Walmart to deliver to that I have ever been to. And I've been to them all over the country. I'm not a big, yeah, I don't go out west much, but I've been to a few Walmarts out there, was it Las Cruces and some in Colorado, here and there. But that one in Wintersville, man, is that a beast to get to. There's no good way into that thing, in my opinion. They must have got that land for free or even paid to take that land, because why you would put a distribution center out in the middle of nowhere in the mountains makes no sense to me. You know, go 100 miles out and build it near the freeway like everybody else, Walmart. Let me tell you how to run a business, Walmart. But I'm sure there was a reason they put it out there. But anyway, that load was a beast. 65 empty miles on that, 853 loaded miles, because I went around the tolls. I did a short video about that, going around the tolls on this. So if you're not a subscriber, you're missing out. I'll promise you that. So it was 853 loaded miles. Should have been about 828, I think, if I'd went the short way. But I saved myself like $200 in tolls. 918 loaded miles. I paid $18 to scale that load. Oh man, heavy loads loaded all the way to the back. They're the ones I have a hard time judging, because it's normally I just put the axles under the back of the load. Well, when the load goes to the back of the trailer and it's heavy, which technically I don't think they're supposed to load like that, but in this market, when somebody gives you $3,000 on, you know, 800 and something loaded miles, keep it shut. You figure it out, in my opinion. So I scaled it. I rescaled it. Like I said, I went around the tolls. I paid $15 in tolls on that one. Then coming out of Ohio, got another good load out of Ohio. Pretty happy about that. I did headed 146 miles back to the Columbus area. 415 loaded miles on this load, 551 total. It was one pick, 5 drops. One of those drops was at the same location as the other drop. So technically, 4 locations, 5 drops. They didn't even make me switch doors, because that building does have a refrigerated and a dry end. But they were like, yeah, just park in the middle door and we'll unload it and we'll separate it. So I was like, I can deal with that. So technically, it was one pick, 4 drops, in my opinion, but it did take a long time to unload that dual drop. So, and they didn't pay attention, because they're like, technically, that's 2 separate drops, and I'm like, yeah, that's why you did that. That's why you did that. It's all becoming clear now. But that load was 43,000 pounds, 33 degrees, and it paid $2,200. Not bad out of Ohio on 415 miles, to get that kind of money. Pretty damn happy with it. That load paid because it was babysitting. That was I think I picked that up on a Sunday, and it didn't come off until Tuesday morning, I think is how that works. So that was a babysitting load more than, driving. And then out of Ohio, normally I don't like to split it. I like to come straight back to Minnesota, but that's becoming tough in this low volume freight market. So out of Illinois, I grabbed another load back to Minnesota. And that was 26 deadhead miles, 434 miles for a 460 mile total, 28 degrees, 23,000 pounds, $1,100 on that one. So, pretty good week. I mean, I wish I could do it every week like this. It's kind of lower miles and it's still good money, So I would take this week if I could. If someone said you can do this week over and over and over, I'd run this for a long time. I would, because it's going to Ohio. I'm not having to really get into any mountains other than going to Wintersville. Uh, Hopefully, to God, we could find a new load not going to Wintersville. But honestly, I just figured I would just deal with it. I would. For this kind of week, this is a damn good week. Um, so let's talk about the numbers of the week. The money, $6,300 total gross revenue for the week. That's a tasty jam, especially in this market. That's kind of where I've been. I had a couple weeks where they were more up toward 8,000 back to back, 8,000, like high sevens, I should say. but I put in a lot of miles to get that money, you know. So sometimes these shorter weeks are better weeks, technically. So $6,300 total gross revenue, $5,040. My 80% that's coming to the truck, $5,040. Total miles for the week, 1,929 miles. So less than 2,000 miles on a week. Not bad. 256 empty miles, which I did not do the math on that, but that's probably like 15% deadhead, something like that. But I don't care because it still made a good rate per mile. 1673 loaded miles, and let's talk about per mile rates now. That was 327 all miles, $2.62. My 80% is 262. That's pretty good for what I consider myself kind of a quasi power only. You know, I provide the power unit, I provide the reefer fuel. So I kind of consider myself kind of like a somewhat power only. Um, and that's 373 a loaded mile. So some of that was paying pretty damn good in there. Now let's go over to variable cost. 1330 on diesel fuel. Yeah, that's high on diesel for a short week, but what that was, and I want to talk about that real quick. Whenever I give these numbers on variable costs, these are what I spent, not necessarily what I used. So I had got to the house pretty low on fuel. I was able to make it to Illinois, fueled up a big fuel up, like 177 gallons, and then ran, out to Ohio, back from Ohio, dodged tolls, so I went a little longer way, did a bunch of 4 stops running around the South Chicago Joliet area, and then all the way back up to the Illinois Wisconsin line, fueled there again on the way home. So made it home pretty full on fuel. I was probably like filled up and then put about 300 miles on that fill up. So that was a lot for the week, but came home with a lot more fuel than I left with. So, you know, like I say, it's what I bought, not necessarily what I used. 110 in reefer fuel, $14 in DEF fluids, $30 in tolls. So not bad. Dodged a lot of tolls this week. Probably saved myself a couple $100. Drove a little extra. But when I know I'm going home like this, it's like I don't mind going around the tolls and burning up my clock because I know I'm going home for a 34-hour reset at the minimum. So, um, $18 in scales. Only scaled that first load. All of them were, well, the second one was heavy, but there wasn't really a lot of tolls, or excuse me, wasn't really a lot of weigh stations along that route. And I kind of figured I had it right because my truck does have a scale on it. The trailer I'm pulling right now has a scale on it, which I like, having truck and trailer have scale. But most of the time, my trailers do not have scales on them. So 1502 variable cost. Let's go over here, bring over my 5,040 to the truck money, subtract 1502 variable cost. That leaves us, well, it doesn't leave us, that's my money, but leaves me 3538, and threw 500 of that over to the maintenance account, which it's going to get burnt through. This truck is coming up on needing some stuff, and honestly, when I first get a truck, I like to go through it more than I have went through this one already, but just doing a few things, like fluid changes. That way I know when they were done. I like to just go ahead and do the differentials. I like to just go ahead and do a coolant flush. I like to go ahead, do a few things like that along when I first get a truck, the first few weeks. I just haven't had time to do it with this truck right now. I mean, like, this truck needs a wash so bad right now, it's unbelievable. But it's just like, when do I get the time to do that anymore? Because it seems like to me every load is a just in time load. Um, so I don't know. I'm having trouble getting things done like I normally like to get them done. But anyway, that was the maintenance account. That leaves me $3,038 to do what I have to do with. Pretty good week for me. I'll take that. Fuel cost was 69 cents a mile for the week, but like I say, I came home with more fuel than I left with, so that's why that's so high. And that's the week, folks. I hope you enjoyed Weekly Recap. If you did, smash that like button. If you made it all the way to this point, you should think about subscribing because I do these all the time. Come join me for a live show. Those are lots of fun, too. Take care of each other out there. And remember, people are more important than trucking.
Quick, I just want to remind everybody about the Mudflap app. If you're not using Mudflap, check it out, download it. It should be part of your fueling program. It's a free app. Go download it from the Apple or Android store. You sign up using credit card or bank account. No credit checks, nothing like that. No fuel card needed. Get yourself huge discounts on fuel. I buy about half of my fuel through it right now. It's an amazing free app. It's 100% legit. Sign up using my promo code there, and I'll get $10 in free fuel. You'll get $10 in free fuel. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.